Want to take your family taco night to the next level? Well, here's how to make homemade guacamole and homemade pico in quick and easy steps. Everyone is guaranteed to love it. First, you need to make sure that you have all of the ingredients and enough of them. To make my mom's homemade guacamole, you're going to need half a tomato, an eighth of an onion, a pinch of salt and pepper, 8 avocados, a bunch of cilantro, 1 lime, and a jalapeno. For the pico, you will need about 3 tomatoes, a whole onion, a pinch of salt and pepper, a bunch of cilantro, 2 limes, and a jalapeno. To start off, you're going to grab your bunch of cilantro and begin cutting it up. This process might take a while as you want the cilantro to be cut up very small. Once you are done cutting, you're going to split the cut up cilantro in half. You will put half of it in your guacamole bowl and half of it in your pico bowl. Next, you're going to cut up 2 jalapenos. Begin by cutting each of them in half and taking out the middle. Once you've done that, you're going to cut up each of the jalapenos very small, just like the cilantro. Once they are cut up small enough, you're going to split the cut up jalapenos in half and do the same thing you did with the cilantro. It doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure they look even. Half of the jalapeno will go in the guacamole bowl and half will go in the pico bowl. This next part applies only to the guacamole. You're going to take an avocado and cut it in half. Then you will need to take the pit out of the avocado. Repeat this for each one of your avocados. If you want a smaller batch of guacamole, you may use less avocados. The numbers don't need to be exact. In this case, we are having a big family dinner, so we needed to use more avocados. Next, you're going to cut each of your avocado halves in half again down the middle, and you're going to do this for each avocado. Now, you're going to take each half of your avocado and put it into the guacamole bowl. This can be difficult depending on which avocado you use. Some are easier than others, so just be patient. And this might take a while because depending on how many avocados you use. Now you're going to take 1 lime and cut it in half, and you're going to squeeze each half into your guacamole bowl. Once you have finished putting your limes in your guacamole, you're going to take a pinch of salt and put it into your guacamole. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then you're going to do the same thing with your pepper. Then you're going to grab a potato masher and you're going to begin mashing up your ingredients together. You're going to do this for a few minutes. It's probably going to take you a little bit, but you should do it until there are a few chunks, but not many. You want the texture to be just right. And this is what the texture should look like once you're done mashing. It'll take about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes for this texture. Now you're going to want to grab 1 tomato and cut it up. You're only going to use half of this tomato for the guacamole. And you're going to cut it up small, just like you did with the jalapenos and cilantro. And then you're going to add it to your guacamole. Now you're going to cut up like about 1/8 of an onion. Again, it doesn't need to be exact measurements, but you're not going to want too much onion for the guacamole, so make it a small amount. And you're going to cut it up really small, just like you've been doing. And then once it's cut up, you're going to add that to the guacamole as well. Once all of your ingredients are in the guacamole bowl, you're going to grab a big spoon and begin mixing them together. Once you're done mixing them all together, you're done, and this is your finished product. However, we are not done yet. We still have to finish the pico. For the pico, you're going to use about 3 more tomatoes, including the tomato that you started to use with the guacamole. You're going to cut them up small, just like you did with the guacamole, and put them into the pico bowl when you're finished. For the pico, you use a lot more onion. You're going to use a whole onion and cut it up really small. And then once you've cut it up small enough, you're going to add that to the pico bowl as well. For the pico, you use 2 limes instead of 1, and you're going to cut each of these limes in half, and then you're going to squeeze all of them into the pico. Now, just like before, you're going to add a pinch of salt. Again, does not need to be exact. And then the same thing, a pinch of pepper, and add that to your pico. Now that all of your ingredients are in your pico bowl, you're going to take a spoon and begin mixing all of them together. And then this is what your finished product should look like once you're done mixing. These homemade recipes are game changers and are absolutely delicious with tacos. It takes very little skill and very little amount of ingredients to make these recipes. You won't regret it. Try it yourself today.